When we start a new drawing in AutoCAD using a built-in template, the workspace is not necessarily set up how we would like it. What we can do is we can actually build our own template file with all the settings as we would like them and save it as a .dwt template file so that we can start a new drawing from that every time instead. So in this task you're going to build your own template file so that you can keep it and use it every time you want to start a new drawing. The difference between a template file, a DWT file, and a normal drawing file, that is a DWG, is that if you start a drawing from a DWT file, when you come to save your work after you've done some drawing, AutoCAD will know that you've started from a template file and will prompt you when you click save for a name, as if it was a brand new drawing. This means that you're never going to save over your template file and you will have it ready for the next time you want to do some drawing. It's just a nice little fail-safe way of starting from a predefined file but not recording over your existing work. I'm going to be using the worksheet that's available from the link below this video, so feel free to have a look at that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start a new drawing from the ACAD ISO.dwt built-in template. And when this starts up, it is loaded with some predefined settings from that built-in template file. So we're going to change a few of these. The first thing that you'll want to do is come down to the status bar and make sure we've got the right icons available to us. So if we come down to this little burger menu at the very end and click on there, you need to make sure that you have these settings ticked the same as this. Once you've done that, we can go along and we can just switch on and off these icons. So we're going to have grid display off and grid snap off. We're going to have dynamic input on, ortho mode off, polar tracking on, and we're going to set this to having 45 and 90. And we're going to come down to tracking settings and we're going to add an additional angle of 30 and click OK. We're going to have object snap tracking on and object snap. And object snap, just make sure that endpoint is ticked and midpoint because they're very useful. Show line weights. Well, we're going to be toggling this on and off throughout drawing, but I just tend to have that switched off to begin with. Transparency display on. Selection cycling, again we're going to be switching and toggling through this, but I tend to have that switched off by default. That's entirely up to yourselves really. Allow and disallow dynamic UCS, we're going to switch that off for now. So show annotation objects always, and switch on the add scales to annotative objects when the annotation scale changes. And then over to the scale, the annotation scale, we're just going to go to custom and we're going to add a scale of 1 to 25 in there because strangely AutoCAD doesn't come with that predefined. So we're going to click on there and click add, and we're going to type in 1 to 25 as its name, and this is really important. Remember to come down to the bottom and have scale properties, paper units 1 and drawing units 25. Click OK. Click OK again, and there we will have our 1 to 25 added. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the display settings. So I personally like to draw on a white background with black objects. I know that some people like to use a black background, so I'm going to show you how to change that. We're going to go to the options menu, and under displays tab, which is the second one in, we can go down the first column to colours, and it's the 2D model space. At the moment mine is set to white. If you want to change yours to another colour, this is where you would set it. I'm going to leave mine white for now. click apply and close, and click OK to close that. Okay, so then we're going to go back to the application menu and we're going to go to drawing utilities and we're going to set the units to be a precision of 0. Make sure it's set to millimeters and click OK. And the last thing then is to go up to the application menu, drawing utilities, and we're going to go to the drawing properties. Now if you're using a Mac at the moment, you won't have this available to you. This is just a Windows feature, and what it does is it allows us to predefine our drawings, like watermark them with our name. So we're just going to fill in author, and we're going to and we can put in the comments, we can put in some other information like our email address or our website. But don't put anything in the hyperlink based section. That won't work for your website or email address. That's for a different feature of AutoCAD. Click OK and we're done. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up some text styles. So we're going to go to the annotation area in the ribbon menu and we're going to click on the drop down menu and click on the little square with an A and a paintbrush, and that will open up the text style manager. And at the moment you can see there's 2 predefined with this template. We're going to add some more to this. So we're going to click on new and we're going to call this Arial Standard. And we're going to have the height as 0 and we're going to have this as Arial, and annotative is going to be switched off. We're going to create another new one called Arial 200, and this will have a height of 200. We're going to create another new one called Arial 100. Click OK and set this to being 100. Apply new Arial 50. And then we're going to create another new one, and this is going to be called Calibri Light. And we're going to need these for future tasks. Calibri Light 65. Come down, change the font name to, where is it? Calibri Light 65 for its height. Apply new Calibri Light 30. Click OK, change it to 30, click apply, and that's our standard texts in. Okay, we're going to create some annotative text now, so we're going to click new and we're going to call this one Arial 8 Anno. Make sure annotative is ticked and set this to 8. Click apply, new Arial 4 Anno. And this is going to be a paper height of 4. Apply a new, another one called Arial 3 Anno. Change this to 3. Apply new, and Arial 2 Anno. Click OK. Change it to 2. Click apply and close. The next thing we're going to do is set up the dimension styles. So we're going to come back up to this drop down and we're going to go to the next button down, which is the dimension style manager. And we're going to set up a new dimension style, which is going to be annotative. So we're going to click new and we're going to call this dimension or dim Arial 4 Anno. And start with ISO 25, that's fine because we're going to change everything anyway, and click annotative. Click continue, and we have the settings that we can modify. The first thing we're going to change is the baseline spacing on the first tab, which is lines, and we're going to change that to being 6. We're going to change the extend beyond dim lines to 3, and the offset from origin to 3. The next thing we're going to do is change the symbols and arrows. We're going to change these to being obliques. and this is personal preference really. I kind of like the oblique look, and arrow size will be 4. Go to text and change the text to use Arial Anno 4, and the offset from dim line I'm going to change that to being 0.9. In fit, just make sure that draw dim line between extension lines is switched off. In primary units, we're going to set the precision to 0, and you're not going to see this anyway, but I like to just make sure that the decimal separator, should I change the settings later, is going to be using a period instead of a comma. And that is it. We can click OK. Click Set Current, click Close. Okay, lastly we're going to do a multi-leader style. So we're going to go to New, and we're going to call this multi-leader Arial for Anno. Make sure that annotative is ticked. Click Continue. And the only things we're going to change in here, well, we're going to make sure that the arrow size is set to 4, and we're going to go to Content, and we're going to make sure the text style is Arial for Anno, and then we can click OK. Set Current and Close. And that is a good basis for our template file. Now we'll be adding things to it as we go through, but that is now ready to be saved. So we're going to go to the red A application button and click Save As, or hover over and click Drawing Template. And at the moment AutoCAD wants to save it in its own template folder. Now if you're on your own laptop, that's absolutely fine, go ahead and save it in this folder. If you're using a Lipper computer, then you probably won't get this file back again next time you load up AutoCAD, because it's going to be saved in a file in a destination that's probably not accessible by yourselves. So what I would do is make sure that you go to Documents and save it somewhere useful. I'm going to save mine in my AutoCAD tasks folder. I'm going to make sure that it's a DWT template file. I'm going to call it pools template, and I'm going to click Save. And you get a little pop-up, and it's just asking you for additional information. We can just click OK there, and we're done. And we now know that this is saved because it says pools template.dwt. Now in order to start a new drawing from this template, we must remember to go to the red A and click New, and then browse for our template. I save mine in my documents, and start a new drawing from this file. And you can see that it's worked because we have our settings as we save them. We have all of our text styles all there ready, but the drawing says drawing3.dwg in my case, which means that it knows that this is a brand new drawing. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because if you started a new drawing by going to Open and then picking up your template file, you will be overwriting your template, and so it's important to make sure that you go to New and not Open, because you'd be editing it in effect, and when you come to save, AutoCAD won't prompt you, it will just overwrite it. So providing you remember to go to New to start a new drawing and then pick your template file, everything will be happy and working for you.